I was say, yeah, I can do that if I need to. Um,
The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. Built in the late 1940s, North Wilkesboro has been a staple on all Southern racing calendars. For 50 years, up until 1996, this place was up and in its glory days, but it took about a 25-year hiatus in state of decay until it gained new life post-pandemic. Now this place is a state-of-the-art facility featuring lights and a NASCAR All-Star race along with cars and modified races, but today on iRacing, we take it back to 1987 and race here back in time. Welcome everybody to PTR TV for today's coverage of the Furniture Mart Weekly Series Tour Mod Series race number 3 here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Gonna be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth and in the production truck, and of course I do have my pal Bradley Dalton to help me with the calls here. So welcome to North Wilkesboro. Been a few weeks since either of us have called these guys. Well, that's wrong, but I already said what it is, but this is going to be a tough track rally for these mods. It's very, very difficult to pass here. Two different shaped corners, two different style straightaways. Definitely puts the onus on the driver.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to North Wilkesboro, a track that, well, Corey says it perfectly every time, so I'm never going to try to follow up on what Corey says. His track introduction's beautiful with it. But yeah, this is gonna be a difficult one. It's a track though that's a lot of fun. It seems to just have a planted spot in iRacing that everyone loves it. It's got a very rich history and it's a lot of fun to drive. I've driven this track several times. It's a lot of fun. It is very, very challenging regardless of what car, what series you get into, but I think these guys are gonna get around very, very well here tonight.
Yeah, we hope that is the case. We did get the update here at some point on iRacing. They did scan this place, of course, with the new pavement, the lights, all the new amenities. We will be getting the updated version of this track at some point in the future, but cool to kind of have the retro state of it here. But while qualifying is just kind of clicking off the last few seconds, we do have the point standings here. This is the combined point standings between both of the series, the late model stock tour, and of course these mods. You got DeCunha up by 3 over Austin Miller, Austin Purnell, Walker Cole, and Caleb Anderson there in the 5th spot. And then our second standings, this is the standings specific to our modified class here after 2 races. Justin Hoyle top of the board, Richard Allen, Austin Purnell, Miller, Purnell, and Cole going to be your top 5 here. So while that is the case here, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If it's your first time, don't make it your last. Hit that like and subscribe button on our mission to get 1,400 subscribers. Just need your help to get us there with a few clicks and maybe a few shares to your buddies. But now, Bradley, let's go down trackside and give them that PTR TV starting lineup here as these guys are sitting on the front straightaway.
Yes, sir. And as we bring it down here, trackside, Adam Cole is going to be taking on pole position. P2 there is going to be Mike Celentano.
Are we looking at the same lineup?
We might not be looking at the same lineup because I'm not seeing your lineup. A little bit of a technical moment there. So I think I'm looking at a different lineup than you are, possibly.
All right, well, I'll just go with what the screen says on my end. And Cam Billings at first, DeCunha in second, Riley Mercario in third with Camden McMillan in fourth. Fifth, we have Larson Parker, Brian Cole in sixth with Austin Miller in seventh, Adam Cole in eighth, Ryan Robertson, I'm wondering if that's the same Ryan Robertson that I know, in ninth, and then Walker Cole in 10th. And just to finish out the last 14 guys here, we have Justin Hoyle in 11th, Bradley Smith in 12th, 13th and 14th, we'll find Mike Celentino and Caleb Anderson going to be shotgun on the field here tonight.
This is going to be a good run here going through North Wilkesboro. I think we're going to see some really close racing. I know Martinsville a couple weeks ago was a lot of fun for these guys for me to bring through. And Corey, I'm glad you're joining me here as we have I don't know if you're seeing it on your side, but there's a random floating lady in the middle of the infield. Are you seeing that on your side?
I will keep an eye out for it now that you mention it, but as it is now, I have yet to see that. I am quite the graphic anomaly artist here on iRacing, so the fact that I have not seen it is actually quite the surprise to me. But very quickly, our weather conditions here from North Wilkesboro: 72 in the air, 78 in the track, 1 o'clock sim time here. It is a rather cool track temp, so we'll see what that does for the racing. But the pace car is into pit road. Barney has the green flag, and he'll wave it very quickly. Let's go racing here from North Wilkesboro. Heading off into turn number 1, the 92. The control car, a little bit of contact there with Cameron Billings, and Billings will get the edge into 3 as they remain side by side.
Yeah, I'll tell you very quickly, the thing I learned from Martinsville is these guys can get very aggressive in the side-by-side racing. They run through, again, that 92 and that number 1, Dylan Connor, Cameron Billings. They're going to hold the front line here going down the backstretch. And you can see that there's really no advantage inside versus outside. Traditionally, short track racing, you want that inside line. You want the inside line run all the way up to the wall. But as we continue on, they're still holding each other, especially through 1 and 2 here. As we go another lap, and that number 32/12 there, Mr. Riley Murichello is getting in the mix as well. We might start seeing a 3-way battle as this continues on.
Yeah, heading down into the corner here. I mean, this is not a track where I would want to put my nose into a 3-wide spot, but I mean, just because I won't do it doesn't mean that other drivers will not. We do have a couple number mismatches here that we will have to muster our way through Mercurio with that 12 in sim, but also the 32 livery there. So we do have to, actually, I'm sorry, paint scheme. We're barking here. These aren't liveries, they're paint schemes. But we got to get used to that. Larson Parker there, and they're going side by side. The longer they do that, the more strain they put on those tires, and that's more contact. Mercario washes up the track. There goes Larson Parker underneath with that little bit of contact.
Yeah, good move there up the inside. No harm, no foul, and a little bit of contact. Sometimes that's what you got to do, though. That is, I told this story at Martinsville. My first win came with a bump and run through turns 2, and that is how I got my first win here with the open wheels. We talked about, I'm a little biased to the open wheel modifieds and really love these cars. We come around lap 8 of 150 on tonight, and we can see here again, everybody's holding nice and steady. We've gotten into that single file, and now this is just the case of the guys got to hold the consistency, the groove. Don't battle too hard, don't do anything too off the wall, and just survive and tick these laps down.
Yeah, we did not get into our race details, sponsored by We're Still Looking for a Sponsor. It is a limited fuel load here tonight, so there should be 1 pit stop, given the very rudimentary information that I was provided. 1 set of tires is in the pits, and also a fast repair. So if something does happen to you in tonight's efforts, you don't immediately have to part ways and head to next week. You can get back into the thick of it. So we'll keep mind of that. Again, I don't know too much, Bradley, about that fuel load. I don't know if your memory goes back 2 weeks' time to Martinsville and how that worked out in terms of the pits, but we'll see how things fare here as we're battling again for the 3rd spot.
Yeah, thinking back a couple weeks ago, really what most drivers did, and of course we had some cautions in the mix that kind of, threw a good wrench in the works there, but most guys just tried to go about half distance, went in the pits, and then ran it through. So these cars should make it about 75 laps without an issue on their fuel load. I would think realistically they could probably make it up to 100 if they wanted to. And again, I'm just a commentator, don't quote me on that. I say what I say, and somebody somewhere is going to correct me on that. So I would say if we run green the entire time, which is not unreasonable, I'd say about half distance is when I would expect people to come in for fuel.
We'll see if that is indeed the case here. Again, on board with Larson Parker in that number 18 car, trying to battle with Riley Mercario there. They were really tight confines. Maybe a little bit of Nerf bar tapping, I think, is the correct verbiage here within these modified cars. Not quite door tapping, because we don't, I mean, we have doors, but, you know, they are quite covered by the bars and the wheels there. But again, different lanes at play here at North Wilkesboro. It's not a track where you just traditionally want to wrap right on the white line. There are a lot of bumps. There is some kind of variable progressive banking. So you'll see the 18 trying to make that inside lane work on one side, and I think it works better in 3 and 4 than it does in 1 and 2.
It does, and it's something that the drivers are going to contend with as the race goes. And the one thing that's really going to limit them is tires, and how their tires fare and what they can do with the tires there. And you see the 18, especially into 1 and 2, is taking a lower line and entry and really setting up differently. He's trying to look for that inside line, but the 32/12 is doing a very good job of blocking that off. But that number 18 of Larson Parker is looking, if he's going to go for the pass, it's going to be right there in 1 and 2, because that's really where he's trying to set it up. And then through 3 and 4, you can see he's just following through.
Yeah, he's just trying to watch for the mistakes, and very easy to make a mistake there. There's that curb to the inside, and if you hit that curb, it will certainly upset the car. You'll see a lot of guys, there's not really a curb in 1 and 2, so you'll see guys clipping the grass there, and you can imagine the effects that does provide there. But we do have an incident, and that's Mike Calentano, and that will cause a caution as he is facing illogical directions there on the back straightaway. So let's sort out what happens to the 77 here on the replay. Oh, I got a wrong logo there, so forgive me for that. But yeah, that was just a little self-spin, and carries on. And live graphics updates here, folks. I changed over about 7 logos to the new league sponsor, and I missed one. So play nice. And guys coming into the pits here, lap 21. I would imagine fuel only. I wouldn't take that set of tires right now. Again, not even a pit wall here. I mean, this is circa 1987. You're telling me in 1987 they didn't have a pit wall here? But evidently. But left side's going on Larson Parker.
Interesting. I didn't expect guys to be really pitting in here.
So obviously there's some kind of strategy play to that. I mean, traditionally, right sides will loosen you up, left sides will tighten you up. So perhaps, I mean, just hear me out here. Again, I'm with somebody who does about 5 races on iRacing per year, and when it comes to the driver's seat. Perhaps he's waiting for a caution later in the race. He knows the car is going to be tight, and he wants the ability to loosen it up later. No, actually, I don't think that makes sense. Yeah, I have no idea.
I was going with you for a second, and now I can't go with you, so I don't have an answer. My answer is going to be that the drivers are clearly a lot smarter than me, and there is something they know that I don't, and we'll just roll with it and see what they do.
Yeah, because I'm just trying. I think this is my first modified race, actually. No, it definitively is, because the first week of the modifieds we didn't cover. We covered the start of the late models. You covered last week at, 2 weeks, whatever it was, at Martinsville. So I don't really know these guys, and I don't know the tendencies of the modifieds as well. It's been many years since I've really broadcasted them. So we're all learning together here. I'll rely on Bradley's bias of this car and his one official win to give us that required information that we need. But we'll have that start. Billings to the inside, Connor to the outside. Outside is completely stagnated here, and that'll give Mercario a good run for second.
Yeah, Billings just taken away there, and Mercario up on the high line. Dylan Connor trying to hang out with him as well. They're 2x2. The leader typically getting away well, and then we go 2x2 through. That number 69 of McMillan is trying to get in single file, and then everyone's just trying to find a place there. The 31 wants through. The 69 now drowning out to the high side, and yellow flag out yet again.
Austin Miller in the 42. He has issues through 3 and 4. I think this may have been a self-spin. Let's take a look from the top-down cam. And turn 1. Yeah, he was sideways on. He overdrove the entry there, and pretty much a no harm, no foul there. Just lost the track position and maybe overheated those tires a little bit.
Yeah, big shout out to the Krispy Kreme car there of Mr. Walker Cole. One, you're going to get my invoice for Krispy Kreme donuts because now I got to pick them up tomorrow morning. You're making me hungry. And number two, big shout out to him for the avoidance there on the inside, cutting through the grass, keeping the car together though, and was able to avoid making that incident any bigger than just a single car spin.
Yeah, we do not have Krispy Kremes up here in the New England area, so that's not something that I've had a Krispy Kreme donut, don't get me wrong, but they're not something that we get to have up here. So I feel a little bit deprived if I do say so myself.
You've never had the great experience of going when the neon sign's on and getting a hot, fresh glazed donut straight off the conveyor?
Not from Krispy Kreme. I mean, I am going apple picking in a few weeks' time. That is something that we get a lot of here in New England. And you can get a hot, fresh apple cider donut right off the machine. So I'll take that over a glazed donut anyways, especially from a corporatized place, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. Fall is in the air. Fall is coming back. And the one good thing about that is the apple cider donuts.
Yep, and well, just call me a little bougie girl here, but I just got my pumpkin spice creamer for my coffee in the morning, and I felt all nice and nice and special in the morning with my morning iced coffee. So insert insults here. I'm expecting it here in the chat and amongst you myself. But lights out on the pace car, so our second caution will be entering its waning phases here, and we'll try this for a third time. And I don't know if those top two are playing nice with each other. They were almost making contact here on the pace lap. We've seen the inside lane, of course, be the ideal line, but that outside last time was not going at all. We'll see if they can get a better jump.
Yeah, I think the outside will do a better run as we come through three here. And also, at least you didn't say Starbucks pumpkin spice latte. I'm just going to throw that one out there.
It's Starbucks creamer, but I will never buy one direct.
Okay, I appreciate that. And look at that jump that comes up there from Cameron Billings right off the bat, and Riley back in the background trying to hold on. That 92 of Ryan Robertson gets a little wiggle, but is able to keep the grip together, trying to get those tires back up to temperature as we run down into 3 and 4. I mean, man, he's slow on the inside though. I didn't expect that, and we'll see how things stack up here as we're back underway. Yeah,
I do personally think that middle groove is going to become ideal as the run does go on. The inside being a little bit flatter, a little bit more bumpy. Again, this scan is based on the old pavement that was put on the early 80s. I think it was 1982. They did artificially smooth it in some places, but it still is not smooth, not an easy experience for these drivers. So makes things that much more difficult. But Austin Rich Miller, he's trying to make a comeback here. He is to the inside of your infamous Krispy Kreme car. Walker Cole not able to make the pass right there, and maybe just waiting for a better opportunity. But going back up front, we are just kind of in that single file train, and personally nothing wrong with that. It's a side-by-side battle here for 8th, Parker and Calentano. I'll get that right one of these days.
Yeah, and as Calentano runs the inside there, and you can see that Parker is through and away. They go around and continue their laps. The big thing that's really catching my eye, if we jump back up front there with Mr. Dylan Connor, Ryan Robertson, is once Dylan Connor could get off the low line there and he started running middle through 1 and 2, the car seems to, through 3 and 4, the car seems to be handling a lot better. I haven't seen a wiggle out of him since we got back in single file, so he seems a little bit happier as long as he's not having to really pin it side by side. But here's the issue. You got to get side by side with people to pass him. So we'll see how that plays out for him here in the long run, because he's about to get a run on Ryan Robertson.
Yes, he was just past Adam Cole, usually higher up in these races, but delegated all the way back to the rear of the field. But again, Dylan Connor, Ryan Robertson, Connor trying to do a little bit of a higher line. He's trying to do that high entry, low exit, get him to run down the straight, give him the run into the following corner. But Robertson, a very, very knowledgeable driver, can defend against that. Ryan Robertson, I think, and it's a name you'll remember, Bradley, because you covered our Red Sox Racing League. I think it's the same Ryan Robertson. I would imagine it is, but I don't know definitively. So be interested to find out perhaps in post-race. But there goes Dylan Connor getting by in that 92 for third.
I think it is the same Ryan Robertson that we know and we love here, but again, I can't quote that for sure. We need to fact check on that, but I'm sure we could very, very quickly as we continue around here. Lap 39 of 150. The laps are moving pretty quick. Battle for the lead up front. Cameron Billings will see what he can do. Oh, up the inside goes Riley. If Riley can make this one stick, that's going to be legendary as Cameron's trying to fight him there through that high line. A little bit of a slide. Oh, papers width between those cars as they come out. The exit down the front stretch into 1 and 2. Still holding side by side. Keep it clean, boys. Keep it clean as we go through and live to fight another day. New leader, Riley Murcello.
Well, don't count your chickens too early because he's still fighting on that outside lane is Billings, and every lap that he forces, that's just going to, well, really hurt both of their tires, maybe open the door for DeCunha, but finally he will clear Macario to P1. Cameron Billings will have to suffice in the second spot. Again, Billings, another number mismatch. He is the 4 on his paint scheme, but the 1 in the simulator. So again, these little nuances that we do have to work through. But all of that battling brought the 92 of DeCunha into the mix. And now we have a 3-car battle. Can Macario pull away? Or is one of them going to make another charge there on Riley?
I would be surprised if DeCunha sits back and lets this go. I would be very surprised if Cameron Billings sits back and lets this go. We'll see how this develops, because I think the big thing you're going to have to watch for right now is that 92 seems pretty feisty. Somebody's in the pits on a green flag pit stop, which I was not expecting. I think that is...
that's Bradley Smith. So I don't know if your inner Bradley can... your Bradley senses can say what happened to him, but evidently something's going wrong with the 95. The 95 is not speed here today. I think maybe Jackson Smith has overtaken him. He's 1 lap down.
Yeah, I'm going to guess
that not Jackson Smith. Jackson Storm, that's what it was.
There you go. Yeah, I was trying to figure out who Jackson Smith was. I was like, I'm going to let that one go. I'm going to let that one go.
I only watched Cars 3 about 400 times as a parent of young children here, but makes you wonder, when's Cars 4 coming out? I have no idea. I would love to see their new Cars 4, but maybe let's see how they spoof current motorsports with all the gimmicks we have in it. But either way, that's a podcast topic, of which this is not one of those. Camden McMillan, that 69, that bright green automobile. He is trying to get by Justin Hoyle in the 51. He's kind of doing that crossover move. He's high on one side of the track, low on the other. But I'll tell you, Hoyle is just kind of playing the middle on both sides, playing that ultimate defense, which, that's what you got to do, but it's just so frustrating for your competitors.
It is, up until you get right there to the inside, like we see now from the number 69 of Camden McMillan. He gets just close enough there on the run out of 2 to go into 3, and now we've got a side-by-side, and the quicker he can clear him, the happier he's going to be, because the quicker he clears him, the faster he gets forward. A little bit of a tap there as we go into 3 yet again. They're going to hold there on the inside. Does the 69 have the grip there out, and can the 51 keep the traction and the speed in? That is the million-dollar question. Into 1, into 2 here, and we're riding on board with Larson Parker, who's probably got the best seat in the house to see what these two are doing, and Larson's going to just kind of pick up the inside. And this is the problem really with this short track racing, is once you get pinned by one car to the high side, if you can't defend that real quick, they can open up the door and let 2, 3, 4, 5 cars through. Just kind of depends on what happens, but the 51 slots in is going to start defending off of Larson Parker, and we'll see if Parker can get any runs to try to dive his nose up the inside.
And this is one of those tracks there, Bradley, that you really don't know what lane to follow. I mean, some tracks, maybe a Martinsville and, some of the more bull rings where they are more one-lane centric, it's just straightforward. I'm going to the bottom, I'm going to the top. But if they're side by side here, and you're that car behind, you're that Larson Park, I don't know who to follow. I don't know either lane in the right scenario could persevere. So he was really stuck there. Ryan Robertson, huge slide there off of 2. That lost his momentum. There goes McMillan to the outside. And, just as we say, the inside's not the best line. Just as we say, the outside's not the best line. Now the train's working on the top of the track.
Yeah, and I think the big key to it is...
That's Jackson Storm there. That's Bradley Smith in 95. Just getting out of the way, gentlemanlike.
Yeah, he's trying to stay out of the way. He knows he's down a couple laps. He knows he's a little bit off pace. That car is definitely carrying some damage, so he's trying not to make a mess in the mix of things, because that's what you don't want to do. We're watching here this battle. This 31 has slid way down Ryan Robertson. He's trying to defend it, but really he just doesn't seem happy with the car. I don't know if it's a setup issue or what it is, but he just doesn't seem to have sort of the same stability in the corner. You see a little bit of a slide there, and as I say it though, number 18, Larson Parker, gets a little slide. 31 loses a lot of momentum and is going to be relegated all the way to the back of this 4-car pack as they come out of 4. And we continue on along here. And yeah, Larson Parker just kind of has to settle in where he's at, continue along. Up in the front, it is still second verse, same as the first. Nobody's taken off anywhere. Everyone's settled in, and it looks like we're settled in for the long run.
Yeah, which is always nice to see, and then that sets you up for that potential, or inevitable, I guess, pit stop, really. Let's pull up the stints on the ticker to the left side of your screen. You can see, for the most part, 59. For the most part, I'd say roughly half the field has been on circuit since since the green flag, and about half of the drivers pit on the caution right around lap 20 or so. Therefore, you'll have that little bit of a variance with how long these guys can go. If we think maybe 70 to 80, maybe even 90, that could be the fuel load. But everybody else, maybe that could be 110. But I'll tell you, there's one thing you never want to do on a short track, Bradley. You don't want to spend any more time in the pits than you absolutely have to spend, especially here in the modifieds. If you change tires, we don't have one lug nut super mega air guns here. These pit stops take some time, and if you do change tires under green, you're going to be in the pits for a long time, and that could be detrimental if a caution comes out.
Yeah, and realistically, I'm going to say the tires should last. You have the set of tires if you want it. You don't really need to take it unless you're really not happy with the car and you really just need that little bit of extra grip dialed in. My experience, when you're running through, you don't take the tires. If you need the fuel, you take the fuel, but you don't want to spend the time on the tires unless you really just need that little bit of extra handling. Now, I say this, again, with the caveat understood by all that, well, I'm the commentator, I'm not the professional driver here. The guys on track are a little bit smarter than me, and they're going to have an idea of what to do. But, especially when you think about how iRacing likes to bring in the real-world dynamics into this. If you got these guys changing tires in the pit lane, in real life, they're not, one lug nut, big air impact gun, 3-second pit stops. They're, it's a guy with a Milwaukee drill off of Lowe's that's going through with his Milwaukee drill, ripping the lug nuts off, putting a tire on, ripping the tires back on. Traditionally, these guys don't do pit stops in real life. That is the fun with iRacing, is we get that pit stop, but I wouldn't even take tires if you pit. I would just get the fuel you need to get to the end. If we're in a caution, maybe go ahead and take that extra time. But as of right now, everybody seems settled in and the tire should last.
Yeah, that's what you would think, but I did see in a league that we covered last night that there's certain guys who are driving a straight car, and there are certain guys that are driving a sideways car. And the guys who are driving a sideways car, even if it's fast, you may not wear the tires here on iRacing the way that the physics model works. Like, the tire may still keep its rubber, but it gets hot, it'll cycle, and when it heat cycles, it loses grip. And once it happens, you never recover. So I'll be interested to see some of these guys who maybe weren't in heated battles, if they have maybe a long run pace because they were driving more, conservatively. Mercario, remember, he was in really heated battles for the most part of this race, and I wonder if at some point that might spin around, but we'll see indeed. I do see somebody here very slow. That's Mike Calentano. He already had issues here once today, and here he comes to the pits on lap 70.
Yeah, and I'm going to guess, if I had to guess why he's pitting, it's probably just to be a little bit out of the way here. I've been watching the 51 and the 69 battle for a hot minute here. Justin Hoyle and Camden McMillan, they have been pretty well back and forth. Nobody's really passed, but it's been one moment Camden's been faster, 1 minute Justin's been a little faster. And now we see they've spaced out a little bit, but that gap will start to slowly close here. And I really think Justin Hoyle is just trying to pick his move. He's trying to set himself up here, find that pass, and find that way through is really what I think he's doing. And he's doing a good job of it, honestly, as we continue on along.
Be the case here. 2 laps to go until our halfway point here in the Furniture Mart Weekly Series Tour Mods at North Wilkesboro race number 3. Again, this series alternates week to week with the late model tour. We did not cover the late model tour last week only because the car count was a little bit lower than I think we were expecting and the league was hoping for, but they will be doing some recruiting races, so if you're looking for some Wednesday night short track racing, feel free to reach out in the comments. We'll get you sorted in the right direction. Maybe you can have yourself on track. I do know next week, I'm trying to sort through some stuff here on the fly. Next week's race will be with the late model stocks, and they'll be headed to Slinger. Actually, it'll be 2 weeks' time. I think the iRacing build comes out next week, as a matter of fact, but we will be headed to Slinger, the ultimate bull ring. And that should be quite the show there, Bradley.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a real good one. And then, of course, following on for the tour mods here, we'll go to 5 Flags after that on the 18th of September. And I think that's going to be a really, really good one to see how it goes. You know, honestly, I'm kind of interested in driving in this league myself. The more I watch it, the more it makes me miss driving these cars, and it makes me want to jump in and drive a bit more. It's something, I know, Corey, you and I have had conversations about it, but when you really dive into the commentary stuff, it takes away a lot of the time as a driver. It feels like the retirement tour for your iRacing driving career. Absolutely. So we might need to get ourselves into some racing. We might need to talk about that here on PTR TV, see if we can sort that out.
Yeah, I've been looking to do that. 1 day a week, I want to get into an actual league that I can take seriously. Because if I look at my iRacing stats, I can literally tell you when I was single, when I had kids, when I started. It's just all dictated by how much I raced each season. It's actually quite funny how it works out. But yeah, it's always fun to have that first-hand experience of how things do fare out here. Looking for my niche here in the sim once more. I haven't found it. I do like to kind of dibble and dabble all amongst things here. But caution on the speedway. The cause is semi-unknown to me. I think it's the 77. I think. And I'm going to stick with that hankering here. I hope I'm not wrong, but I'm going to stick with that hankering.
Let's see, here's the 77 goes.
Drove it in too deep.
I don't know what you win, but you win something.
Dove it in too deep underneath the Krispy Kreme there. That's a dented, that is a squished donut, but a donut even not perfectly circular. Still a good donut.
Well, and the problem with that, too, for the 77 is he's down 3 laps. So, and Walker Cole's on a lead lap, so I don't know why he would have taken that dive to begin with. That's one that, you know, I don't have a good answer for, but we're past halfway. We're past half distance. Everybody should be needing fuel. So, pit lane's going to be very, very busy here. To the stalls to get at least fuel. This is the tightest pit stall in the oval racing on iRacing. So, of course, we have the drive-through pit stall physics here, but even so, it's still hard to find your stall because of how tight these are. But exiting the pits here, let's see what the battle is. Dylan Connor comes out of the pits first. Riley Mercario will settle back to second. I'll tell you, there was a 3-second delta. 3-second difference in the pit stop time. So Dylan took a much shorter stop. I don't know if you can do a little recon there, Bradley, and maybe we can figure out the exact deets on it. But we'll see if that ends up being something that can change this race. Yeah, we'll see if I'll see if I can take a look here and figure out exactly what his difference in stop was. It does look like pretty much everyone who came in took right sides. It looks like, honestly, going back and reviewing the pit stops, it's just a much, much cleaner pit stop from that number 92, getting in the box, getting stationary, and getting the car up, which is why he got through so much quicker. And then he just had a very, very smooth exit of the pit lane versus Riley, who burned up the tires on exit. So I think that's genuinely what it was, is it's just a case of much cleaner pit in, pit out. Looks like it's been practiced quite a bit.
Well, the other point of that, you can see 11.5 in the box, 14.2 in the box. So, I mean, if it wasn't tires, then that would indicate that Riley just filled the tank up and Dylan may have taken a more calculated amount of fuel. And, you know, that could also affect the handling as well, but it'll give him that track position. Cameron Billings, who I believe was our pole sitter here today, if I remember right. Yes, he is. He is going to be in third there. So he will have that inside lane. So it's going to be really up to that Riley Mercario to get a good jump from the outside lane and preserve himself in that second spot, because we have seen many guys drop a few spots on the get-go from the top.
Yeah, if you're on that top line, you need to be very ready to go as soon as that green flag drops. You need to be just in the throttle as quickly as possible as they come around here. This is going to be where things get very interesting as they get side by side. Of course, the 92 will have the control on the inside, but you need to be ready to go there up on the high side, Riley, and he wasn't yet again. We see that 92 get away. Riley is there more so than he has been, but still we see Dylan got away very well. Further back, side by side, is going to be the number 69 of Camden and that number 18 of Larson Parker on the inside. They're going to hold side by side. They're through up in front.
There's a little bit of contact between Mercario and Connor entering turn number 1. They'll be door to door. Well, Nerf bar to Nerf bar down the back straightaway. That 32/12 has the speed, he has the position, and he will clear. Very short work made. Puts him back to P1. And now the battle between Larson Parker and Camden McMillan, 4th and 5th. And oh no, around into the, almost on that gap on the back straightaway. But that'll be yet another caution flag here at North Wilkesboro.
There is a saying that cautions breed cautions, and that is something that you never want to see, but it does happen as we get our PTR TV replay here, and it's just on the exit. He thought he was clear.
Yeah, and that's not where I thought. Somebody else had a little whisper of that as well, and that's not where I thought. That's kind of a point I meant to bring up, but that back straightaway there, Bradley, entering turn number 3, you can see the opening there, and I'll tell you, I have been absolutely decimated in the past there by that opening on the back straightaway, but that was not where that wreck was. That was just purely 2 cars going for the same exact piece of real estate.
Yeah, and you know, it was important for him to clear himself up high and get up high there because he needed to set the block, but unfortunately just miscalculated a little bit. Not near as much room as he thought he had there, and you know, it's going to cost him as he'll come out back of the lead, and we'll see what happens there up front. Riley up in the lead now. Riley's going to get the chance to set control of the field here and try to get that jump on the inside on Dylan Connor if he can. And Dylan Connor, well, he's going to have a chance to respond.
But while we are under yet another caution, we are just going to step aside for a brief commercial break. We'll be back with you in about 45 seconds for the restart, so please stay with us. All right, we're back here after that little breather here on lap number 94, coming to 95, be 55 laps to go, which if we go green, only about 15 minutes worth of action. So this race flying by here at North Wilkesboro. But the 12/32 car got the lead on the last restart in very quick order, and he'll get the jump here. The 92 going to try to cut to the bottom and get in front of Billings. He will do so successfully, but he's going to get a pretty decent run off the corner. Not enough to battle for the lead, but the battle still for second. Walker Cole in the Krispy Kreme car making a good charge through the field here.
Yeah, Walker Cole actually making the highlight.
Oh, no, we're wrecking again.
Somebody going big in the background. Ryan Robertson.
Yeah, that was a big lick to the fence there. I'll be interested to see if that thing's driving right. But remember, he may also have a fast repair still. 83 got loose off of 4. Robertson tried to take a look. I think he got loose. Larson Parker just had a really bad luck there. We'll look at it from our top-down perspective. I think that may answer a little bit more questions. Look at that 31 to your bottom center of your screen right now. That teal purple car got loose, and you can see he tried to take a look underneath, maybe give a little bit of space, but it did that hospital wobble, or as I like to call the elephant on a skateboard. And once it teeters, you get to fix it once, but once you try to fix it a second time, you don't get it back.
Well, what was really interesting and kind of upsetting in that situation was that number 18 of Larson Parker really just being caught out there. There was nothing he could do. And, you know, for Larson, who's been having a really good race, it's unfortunate to see you kind of just get stuck there and you're just driving along, minding your own business, and nothing he could do to avoid it. He's now in the pits along with Ryan Robertson, both in the pits here. We'll see how bad the damage is. It did look like Ryan's car was pointing a good little hefty angle off to the side. We'll see if those guys get back out here soon.
Yeah, we will see indeed. And as I said, that fast repair, I do actually have the ability, I think you actually do as well, Bradley, on your timing screen. If you scroll all the way over, it will tell you if they've used their fast repair. The only 2 fast repairs executed in the race are Mike Calentano and Larson Parker. Everybody else still has theirs available to them. So obviously they have not found enough of a reason to pull that backup car out yet.
Yeah, and honestly, it's probably a good thing. You want to save that fast repair near the very end, because if things get too feisty, too crazy here as we're down into our final third of the race, you want to be able to get yourself back out there, because with a field of 14 cars and only 11 showing on the lead lap here, I mean, really one thing changing, it could be anyone's game for who wins, who loses, who gets second. We'll see what happens as we continue on here. Lap 100 of 150, Corey, and the final 50 laps, it can go anyway.
It can, and I think that no matter what happens, we are going to be seeing if anybody can pull off a maneuver to get by Raleigh Mercario. Right now, he just has the secret sauce, and I think the only way that's going to get taken away from him is by somebody probably doing it the dirty way. I just can't imagine at this point that someone's just going to find the pace, make the adjustment, and take that away from them.
I mean, it's possible. If you can drive it right, it is possible, but only one way to find out, and that's with the final 50 laps here. I mean, and realistically, it's his race to lose, and if anything happens, you know, we've seen some of these cars get loose and wobble on their own. You know, you have one wrong wobble like that, even the leaders are prone to that happening every once in a while. We'll see how it plays out here, but Dylan Connor needs to be ready to jump on this restart.
Yes, he does need to be very ready and take advantage of the opportunity, and he was ready enough to preserve second, not ready enough to go for the lead, but I don't know if he has it in the tank anyways. We're coming down the back straightaway into turn number 3, single file for about the first 6 or so spots. We do have the Cole battle there with Adam to the outside and Brian to the inside of that 15. I don't think we've talked about that 15 car too much, but Austin Miller, remember, he was in, I think, the first caution of the race. He's trying to make a comeback in that 6th spot. And who is that behind him trying to make something happen? That's still the 15 and an 83 into the fence there off of 4.
Yeah, that's Adam Cole going up in the fence, running with Brian Cole, and I have a feeling that the Coles are probably talking to each other right now, and probably Brian Cole's telling Adam Cole, get out of my way, stop trying to push me low, and Brian's probably saying back, I'm not trying to push you, go through the 69 with a big wobble there down the front stretch. They save it, they hold on to it, we continue along here. There's a big wobble from the 51 of Justin Hoyle as well.
Yeah, Hoyle
Why are these cars so loose?
Yeah, Hoyle got loose off of 4 here. The weather conditions, just double check them just for the sake of knowledge. Track temp has gone up a few degrees, and I'll tell you, something just looks off here today. It's 1:15 sim time, but it looks like, I don't know, 4 or 5 o'clock, Bradley. Is that just me?
No, something is feeling off to it, and I'm seeing it in the way the cars are handling. There's something that's not making sense, and we've got another caution out.
Oh, okay. This race is, I will answer that question in a jiffy. I'm going to make an inference that it was Ryan Robertson because he is the slowest car on the track, and my inference is correct. And I think, to quote our other quote, is this second verse same as the first?
Let's watch him here.
Oh, wiggle from the 18. Ryan Robertson is bad luck, and that is what we call a sissy caution. No harm, no foul, just lost the track position.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Ryan Robertson is probably thankful it's no harm, no foul, just lose the track position, go on about my day.
But
it's a little frustrating.
To answer the question that we were presenting, why does things look weird? I did look. I do have a tab on my back-end software that gives me the exact dates, and we are racing at the end of November. So for a 1 o'clock sky, all right, this looks accurate. This does not look like a 1 o'clock sky in late August during the time of this race being live, but for pushing winter, yeah, that's why the lighting is as is, and why it is so cold.
That makes a lot more sense, honestly, for things looking the way they do and feeling the way they do. Now, the cars are still handling a little bit off to what I would expect for 1 o'clock 80-degree track temp, but I think I could forgive it a little bit more. So,
and I think that may be leading to some of what we're seeing tonight is this is actually something that I had asked, when we were kind of discussing this league, is they usually run in the daytime, and they like having, the track be more suitable for driver's skill to come out. They don't like, the grip strip tracks, which is why I think, we've seen races with the track temps pretty high, at least in the late models anyways. But, now we have a little bit more grip, so everyone kind of feels a little bit more like Superman. There's a little bit less mistakes, or drivers just kind of drive maybe 101% because they just feel like there's more grip than there actually is.
Yeah, these cars traditionally are going to run night races too, so your vision for where you're at on the track, your perspective of your marks and where you're looking and your corner entry and your corner exit and your on throttle and your on brake points, it all can be skewed a little bit. If you've ever driven a road in the day and then driven that same road at night, say like when you go on vacation and you drive down a road for the first time to go somewhere, and then you're driving back that night and you go, none of this looks the same, none of it looks familiar, it can really throw you off. And I mean, that could be some of it too. I don't really have a solid answer for you for what it is, but man, look at the charge that Dylan Connor just did on the outside there. He's playing mind games here with 1 to go.
And certainly the case here, just trying to figure out something that he can use to benefit him towards having a chance to win this race. But coming out of the back straightaway with 1 lap to go till this green flag, will be now closing in on now 37 laps to go, about 11 minutes worth of action. But Riley Mercario will head into the invisible restart zone. A little bit of a tap there from Cameron Billings that won't do anything except give the 32 a jump, and he will dive off. But look at the outside lane by that 92. He almost got to the rear quarter panel.
Yeah, and I don't think Dylan Connor's going to be done here as we go down into 3. He's right on the back there of Riley as we continue along. The back's going 2x2 a little bit further. Top 4 found their way into single file here. And that number 92 of Dylan Connor looks fast and he looks hungry. He looks like he's hungry for a race win here as we continue along and go into 3. He's settled single file, 2x2 in the background here as we have the 15, the 83 battling it out there along with the 17 and the number 69. They're going to keep things 2x2 and a big wiggle there, the 31, yet again into the wall.
Yeah, Ryan Robertson not having a Red Sox Racing League style performance here today. Was kind of getting beaten and bruised here at North Wilkesboro, but good battling going on between Anderson and Cole. Caleb Anderson with a huge wiggle down to the inside of that number 17, the Per Year Auto Parts machine. That is the sponsor of the late model series. Trying to get what he can get, but I'll tell you up front this time by Dylan Connor, he ain't rolling over and playing dead. We'll pull up our battle graphic. Last time round he was 1/100th of a second faster. Well, that doesn't sound like a lot because it's not, but you know, just doing that lap over lap, maybe making that 12 look in the rear view mirror, maybe getting him to make a mistake. That could be what it was last time by. Well, he gained 1/100th, he lost 3 the last time round.
Yeah, and it's going to be a little bit of a game of give and take as these two go along. But the big thing that number 92 of Dylan Connor is going to be looking for is just the opportunity, the chance. He just needs one little moment where he can stick the nose up the inside and try to run that through. He's going to be trying to set that up, and that's really what he's doing right now. He's just following behind Riley. He's trying to set something up. He's trying to find a way to pick that pass through, and he's just hanging out single file over and over again, and he's going to be just looking for something. We're coming across the line for lap 120 of 150 here, so 30 laps to go as it stands, and Dylan Connor, I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to not bet on him. You'd be hard-pressed to bet on him. Well, 30 laps will tell you the answer. Make it 29 as we cross the line.
Riley Mercurio having led now 75 laps, so just about half, a little over half of what we have run thus far. If he manages to lead another 30 more, that'll be basically leading 66% of this race. Me doing some quick percentages there. That's what my IT degree, I guess, gets me here. But Brian Cole, he is the battle in Austin. Rich Miller, again, the kind of a snake here. We do have 11 drivers still on the lead lap. Larson Parker, 1 lap down in 18th, rather in 12th in the 18 car. That's not conducive to how he's run today. It's just bad luck. Bradley Smith in 13th, 2 laps down. Mike Calentano has hit the wall again. He has had a chaotic race. And then Ryan Robertson having retired 8 laps down. And that is our field here thus far.
Yeah, Ryan Robertson, as soon as he had that spin there the last time by, he went straight into the pits, and that was where he called it. You know, everyone has their day. Sometimes, you know, you just got to know. And for Ryan Robertson, he'd had a number of moments there where it was just sort of it for him and not much more. And now Larson Parker has called it as well. So we're going to take this 14-car race, turn it into a 12-car race, and oh, there's a big run from the number 69 up the inside.
I'm just taking a look. That is a battle for position. That is for the 9th spot on track. Camden McKillen in 10th, Caleb Anderson in 9th. And again, I think at this point, drivers who maybe did not take tires, or maybe the tires just starting to wear out, just losing their grip here over the course of 150 laps. Maybe it's kind of turning into survival at this point. But up front, they're still trading laps. They're still holding within that 1/10 of a second gap between the two of them. And I think it's going to take a mistake. It's going to take maybe a little tap to the rear deck lid of that number 12. I don't see how Dylan's going to get by, and he looks like he might be inching, but in the wrong direction. Now the gap finally has eclipsed 0.2 of a second and still falling.
Honestly, I think Dylan might be backing off on purpose here. I don't think he's really pushing it right now. I think he's going to hold out for the final 10 laps and make a late race surge here and try to go through. I think he's just cruising through and trying to conserve a little bit more tire. I think he's trying to just, you know, get that number 32/12 of Riley to push that car forward and, you know, burn out whatever tires he has, so that final 10-15 laps we can see Dylan Connor surge his way forward and try to make a pass. We got a big moment there on the screen, and that is the Coles who are giving us a little bit of action.
Miller to the top, and then Brian Cole to the inside, and Brian will successfully garner himself into that 6th position here. Justin Hoyle will be the next on his chopping block. Oh, we are under caution again.
Yeah, and that one's going to be Caleb Anderson. I'm hoping that there was nobody with him there. And
69 of McMillan. McMillan entered a little bit hard in contact and in a selfless little loops. But the algorithm was triggered, therefore the caution does come out. And we'll pull up our race recap graphic. And this will be the 7th caution for 29 laps here on the evening. Fastest lap of the race, a 17 flat by our dominator here today, Mr. Mercario.
Yeah, Riley with a 17 flat real fast here. And I hate to say it, but this is going to be Dylan Connor's really his last chance to try to do anything here. He needs to be right there and ready to go and, prepped up to go through as we see Bradley Smith up near the front, running the high line, getting his way around. And, I'm trying to think, Corey, if you're Dylan Connor, what's going to be your plan here? What are you going to do different to try to take on Riley?
You're just going to, quite simply, try to get the restart of all restarts. And I think that's really all you can do. You just try to get the restart of all restarts. You try to stay alongside of him in some capacity through 1 and 2, because if you can remain side by side into 3, I think we're at the point where the outside is actually going to prevail and he may be able to clear into 1. If he cannot do that, it's essentially game over. Let's pack up and head to next week.
Yeah, and I'm hoping it doesn't come down to that, but we'll see. We'll see how things go. It'll be 15 laps to go when they cross the line, and any sort of hope he had of getting Riley to burn out those tires is gone for Dylan Connor. And here's the more interesting thing. Now he really has to defend from Cameron Billings and Walker Cole, who basically just got given a free pass to try to compete their way forward as well. And, even Justin Hoyle there in P5, who's been fast all night, could be a contender depending on how these front two battle their way through. And we see Dylan Connor again trying to set up there. I feel like he's still trying to do a little bit of mind games here, and that's something that's kind of exclusive to short track racing. It's something you don't see a lot in, bigger NASCAR, 2-mile tracks, super speedways, crazy things. You don't see a lot of that, short, gun it, slow down, mind games, get up beside a guy. I'm liking it. I'm liking seeing it. I'm curious to see what Dylan can do here to try to get an advantage on Riley.
Yeah, it's just all going to be about making the timing absolutely perfect. You try to set up a run on the outside. You try to time the run, but when you do that, you risk getting a black flag and jumping the restart. Very, very, very difficult thing to do. But if you want to win the race, you got to just dig deep and find a way to make it happen. But they're going to come through 3 and 4 here. We don't quite have a restart zone, but the pace car pulls in. Basically, we get going immediately, and that was the absolute last thing that Dylan Connor needed, because that opens the door for Cameron Billings, who gets to the rear bumper and makes a tap to Riley Mercario.
Well, I'll tell you what, the big unfortunate thing for Dylan here is that even could set up, again, as I said, Justin Hoyle and Walker Cole back there in the background who are moving their way through as we ride on board and we continue our way around here. Riley might be under pressure. We might have bet our chips on the wrong horse here for Dylan Connor. I don't know that Dylan Connor has anything left in that car to try to make a run.
Cameron Billings right to the rear. I don't know. Maybe there's tires involved, Bradley. And we just got to be blunt. You called last race at Martinsville, and you said it got a little bit frisky towards the end. That's not how we want things to go, but we already saw one tap from Billings. I hope that there's not any more that get that 12 out of shape.
Now we'll see what happens here with Billings. Billings seems like he's faster, though, than Riley, and if he knows it, he's going to be looking for a pass where he can get it. I don't know how wide these modifieds are, but they're going to be, as wide as possible. A little bit of a wiggle there from Riley up in the front, and here we go. This is where Cameron Billings is going to shine. Up the inside, around, down the backstretch. We're going into 3. He doesn't go for a move yet, but he's there. He's faster, and I do think Cameron Billings, it's a matter of time if he can get that pass through. Riley's trying everything to hold him back.
He's trying just about everything he can, and it's just going to be a matter of, is there going to be a mistake? Is there just going to be, quite frankly, an aggressive move? But with every lap that goes by, if Riley Macario, if you can get 5 inches this lap, if you can get a half a tenth this lap, eventually it gets to the point where Billings isn't in quote-unquote send-it range. Right now, he absolutely is in send-it range, and that is the most terrifying thing. You just have to hope the ethics, the rules, and, well, there's a mistake. That'll cost him. He hit the curb, and that might be the breathing room that Riley needs.
Yeah, 9 laps to go, and it's going to take just about that many laps for Cameron Billings to wind that car back up after that small error. And we saw it last week, right on a restart. Leaders tried to send it up the inside, go for a pass, and spun both the leader and the second place car out. And that was how things ended at Martinsville a couple weeks ago. I said last week, a couple weeks ago, and I don't think Cameron Billings is going to try anything too feisty up the inside, but if he sees a hole, he's going to shoot for it, I'm sure. As we continue around here, 6 laps to go as they cross the line. The gap's closing back again, but 2/10, it's going to be close.
Yeah, you can see on the battle graphic on the bottom right of your screen, 8/1000ths of a second separated them. And he's now kind of within that range. He's out of send-it range. That time did not get through 3 and 4 at all. Now he's 3/10 back. Now I think Riley can really just take a breather. And someone who cannot take a breather is Austin Rich Miller and Adam Cole as they remain side by side through 1 and 2. The 69 of Camden McMillan trying to figure out where to go. A little bit of contact between the two of them, and now through 3 and 4, they remain side by side. We're at the point now where a caution will put us into overtime. But at this point, we're going to hope that we can get this settled in regulation.
Well, I'll tell you right now that these 4 back here have been running 2x2 for a while, and they have not let up there as the number 83, Adam Cole. Taps the wall there on the high line. That might settle that battle, and they will continue through. Little wiggle from the 69 on the exit. 3 laps to go as we stand, and it does look like, other than this battle, the drivers up in front might have set things down.
Yeah, we saw that one mistake that Billings made in 3 and 4, hit that curb, and that seemed to be the final ticket here. So Riley Macario he'll have led just about 100 laps here today. With the exact mathematics, be a little bit easy to do. Yep, 103. It'll be 104 if he can complete one more lap here around the 6.86 miles at North Wilkesboro. He's going to come through 1 and 2, going to go up the hill down that back straightaway into turn number 3, and for the final time, that 12/32 car will come through turn 4, and he'll get himself the prize. He'll get himself the trophy. He'll win here at North Wilkesboro.
Very, very good run there from the 12 to hold on. Nailed every restart he needed to nail, and the big unfortunate driver of the day is going to be Dylan Connor. I mean, he had...
There she is.
Yeah, there we go. I've been seeing her all race.
Well,
she's probably got the best seat in the house.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how she paid for that one. Maybe there's a drone she's on, but I don't know. Can mods do donuts? I don't know, but we'll do some kind of celebratory activity here.
Can a mod do a donut? Come on now.
All right, so while he does that, trying to do his little celebratory activities, let's go down and try to start our post-race show here. I don't know if we have a post-race show, but we'll at least go through the motions and we'll see what happens. I guess we'll go with that. Riley Macario gets the win by 0.2 of a second over Cameron Billings. 3rd place, Dylan Connor. 4th place, Justin Hoyle. Walker Cole in 5th with Brian in 6th. Austin Miller in 7th. Camden McMillan in 8th. 9th and 10th, Adam Cole and Caleb Anderson. And then just because there's only 4 more, Mike Calentano, Bradley Smith, Larson Parker, and Ryan Robertson. So at this point, normally we would start our interview process. However, ain't nobody here.
Dylan Connor's here. He just jumped in.
Oh, all right. Never mind. Well, we got 3rd, so that's something. All right, these guys are all coming in. So we don't have quite the privacy here, so we're just going to kind of just talk this through. So, well, Riley Macario's here, so Bradley, I'll let you talk to him.
Riley led 104 laps on the night and nailed every restart, man. It was a good run from you. Kind of talk me through your race.
Yeah, thank you, man. First off, I'm just happy to be here. It was was a good race. I think that we had the long run car all day for sure. I mean, you guys saw that one long run we had. I was kind of gone for a little while. But as soon as I took those tires, man, the car just got boat tight. So I was fighting for my life there, gripping this wheel as hard as I could. But we did it, and it was definitely a tough one. So those guys gave me a run for my money, and respect to them for racing me clean. I thought the field was pretty good tonight, way better than Martinsville race. So yeah, man, just happy to be here. And that pit stop, we took a little extra fuel just to be safe because I ran a league on Monday and actually ran out of gas, so I was not taking any chances.
It was a good one to watch there, and of course you had Dylan Connor there joining you at the front for pretty much every restart that I can think of. Any sort of plans that you had there whenever you saw Dylan coming through to make sure you got the jump on the restart, or what was it that was helping you out on the restarts?
Yeah, I mean, I run this car only as well as the street stock sometimes, so I've been kind of used to how restarts work with these things. I mean, it's kind of just a mind game. You got to go one spot and then go the other and kind of make them guess, and that's just kind of what we did the whole time. We got pretty good restarts the whole time besides my first restart on the initial race. Kind of messed that up. So yeah, just a mind game type of thing. And I saw some of these guys have like 7,000 iRating, so I knew it was going to be a good race today, and I'm just glad we're here in Victory Lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And then looking a couple weeks ahead here, Five Flags coming up on September 18th. What's the hope for that race?
Yeah, I mean, the number one thing is hopefully I'll be able to make it. But when we're there, the biggest thing at Five Flags is honestly just saving all the tire you can, because that place doesn't really use a ton of brake. It kind of just, the car gets really tight on you if you're not careful, especially in 1 and 2 if you just keep diving it in. So really just saving tires can be the number one thing there.
Awesome, Riley, man. We appreciate it. Congratulations on the win. We'll let you go celebrate.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. I'll do a few more donuts for you guys.
Awesome.
All right, and of course we have Dylan here. Dylan, our third place finisher, and well, you heard everything that was just said. You were on the outside for the majority of the restarts, and it's just so hard, especially on short tracks, to time those restarts on the outside, and you were more fighting to preserve second than to have a chance at the lead. How difficult was it, and was there anything you could have thought to do differently?
Yeah, it was tough right there. I believe everybody after those pit stops right there, at least mine, I know Riley said he tightened up quite a bit. So to try and make the run off the top, it really pushed the middle bad, and it couldn't really roll the momentum like you could earlier in the race on top. So it was really fighting for the bottom right there. And then yeah, when Cameron got below me on that restart, like I said, I just couldn't carry the momentum on top to get back down. So all in all, it was a good race, though. I felt like it was pretty solid at the beginning, and like I said, everybody was just real tight at the end. We were all on top of each other. I believe track position was just a big thing right there.
Yeah, North Wilkesboro, not really a track where I put passing as an easy thing to do. I mean, it's kind of, the ideal lane kind of changes on each end of the track. So with that being said, like what kind of is the mindset of setting a guy up to pass here? I know 3 and 4, you kind of want to wrap the bottom. 1 and 2, maybe kind of diamond it more. How did you try to set passes up here when you had to?
Yeah, well, I feel like it was a little bit easier the first half of the race. You had more turn in the car and all. You could, a few of these guys were kind of diving it in on the bottom a little bit, and if your car could rotate good enough, you could kind of get a higher arc and come across the middle and get a good run up off. But that second half of the race, as tight as we were, it was really hard to do that. So it was, like I said, it was a big track position thing at the end, and he got it. So
well, as he said, Five Flags coming up in a few weeks here for the mod, so hopefully we'll see you there, and we'll see if you can be a couple stops higher on the podium.
Oh yeah, yes sir, for sure.
All right, well, that just about wraps things up here, Bradley. So I don't see our second place guy, Cam Billings, so we'll have to kind of finish things off here. But final thoughts from what we witnessed here today at North Wilkesboro.
I like North Wilkesboro. I like the modifieds. Hands down, great car track combo. I think that this is setting up for a really fun season. And I like what they've done here, alternating it out with the late models. And we'll see what happens here in a few weeks when we come around to Five Flags. We'll see who's on the track. We'll see what sort of action we get.
Of course, we will see indeed. I think let me just look at the schedule super quickly just so I can give some accurate information. Again, yeah, next race will be 2 weeks' time because the iRacing build, I think, is throwing a wrench into things. So We will be off, I think, all of next week here on PTR TV, but stay tuned because we will have AMS in 2 weeks' time. We will have here with the late models in 2 weeks' time, and then I think SSRL comes back, and I think even Red Sox Racing League coming around the corner, so things picking up here in the fall. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. We're on our mission to 1,400 subscribers. Just need your help to get us there. But that's going to be Corey and Bradley signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.